Welcome to Real Talk with New Order, live on DISCO100 Radio. We're live on YouTube, live on Facebook. It's been a week since we've been in the studio. Hope everyone had a so-called happy Thanksgiving. In the studio, I have my co-host, my national economic advisor, Mr. Noki Harding. What's going on, bro?
Man, I'm good, man. How you doing?
All right, it's been what, about a week, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, how's the family?
Everybody good.
Okay, everybody staying safe?
Yeah, everybody pretty much safe.
Okay, all right. Also, my political strategist, Miss Maria Harris. What's going on, Maria?
Everything's lovely.
I know we had to keep you in your prayers. I know the coronavirus had hit home, so we want to make sure we keep your family in prayer. We also have Miss Jeanette Mayfield, who make things happen. The legal department take all the calls into the organization. How you doing, Jeanette?
I'm good. How you doing?
All right. We have a young lady in the studio, Miss Catherine, behind the scenes. She wanted to see what we was going to be talking about today, which I do understand. I always tell people do want to get involved, but they want to make sure they got to pray on it first, so I do respect that decision. First of all, we're just going to have a conversation. At the bottom of the hour at 5:30, we're going to have Rockdale County Chairman Oz Nesbitt, who's going to call in, who's African-American, by the way, who made history out in Rockdale County. History being made all over this county. But when someone look like us, we're in these seats, I do require, to do something for us. I know the whole agenda can't be a black agenda, but, if we get in these seats, they need to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because they use that in their speech. They come to our black churches on Sunday, ask for our vote. And, Monday through Saturday, okay, where are you?
Right.
Once you elected in office. So everybody's have to be accountable for what's going on. So I just want to say myself, earlier today, I was invited to a press conference about the illegal conviction that's going on here in Cobb County. And the stuff that I've seen, the stuff that I've read, I know it's always two sides to a story, but I was out there because of children. The children is innocent. They don't know what's going on. And I just met a mom with single kids, like 4 kids, crying for help. I want to give a shout out to SCLC Cobb County chapter, also Rich Pellegrino, and also other local human rights organizations in Cobb. We stood together as a coalition because one organization can't address these issues. So I just want to make sure that it's working now. This is working now. Yeah. So we just want to make sure that we get to the bottom of it, what's going on, and things like that. And I just want to have some good news. I ran into, you never know who you run into. I ran into Angela Brown, which I've been knowing for years, who was an attorney. And I was checking the P.O. box. They said, Gerald. I was like, who is this? And she took her mask off or whatever. She's like, she made history. She's a Superior Court judge here in Cobb County. So she invited the organization to her swearing in ceremony, because she know that us has been out here doing, because I've been in her office several times, addressing issues and stuff. So she's going to invite us to the ceremony thing. I'm going to get her into the studio as well. Black Superior Judge.
Excellent.
So again, Black DA, Black Sheriff, and this county has changed. And I told Mayor Bacon back in 2001, you're going to see a difference. And when we get out and vote, look what happened. And whoever you voted for, we still made history that we did vote, and things like that. So, all right, Nope. Why don't you go ahead and get some of them encouraging words as far as important as us as black people, as far as economics start supporting our own. Like I said, even today, when I was speaking, I said we could do all these rallies and protests, but we got to start supporting our own people. That's would be more effective, like what they did back in the 50s and the 60s and things like that. So I know you do poetry and all that, so go ahead and tell the listeners why it's important that we got to start supporting our own. It's called the word sacrifice.
Yeah. Well, before I had always said that our money can't just be purchasing power. It really gotta have power. So we gotta have strength in our dollars. So if we just allow our dollars to evaporate or go away from our control, then we'll lose whatever, economic stability that we can muster. So we gotta try to build businesses or build an opportunity where we can circulate income among one another. I mean, even if it's me just buying a T-shirt from somebody,
That's right.
or a toothbrush,
Right.
whatever the case may be. Because if you grow, I too must grow if our goals are interrelated,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But a lot of times, some people's, not all people's, get all into a back and forth where they feel like they being competitive, and we gotta wrestle or gripe for a dollar. When we
Right.
don't, only thing we gotta do is let the dollar circulate.
Right.
If I gain a dollar, I take that same dollar, invest that same dollar, or purchase something else that could make a dollar instead of just allowing the dollar to disappear. That's why I'm not into material wealth,
Right.
such as me going buying with what Disco had said about name brand material and stuff like that, because that stuff it depreciates, and it have really no significant values. I don't care what name brand you wear.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things that I own, I have, was given to me, and like I told you before, all the tools I got, people's gave me,
Right.
stuff like that, and I appreciate it,
Right.
but once
And we
again,
gotta learn to invest too, man. You know what
yeah,
I'm
we,
saying?
we gotta invest. We gotta invest in each other.
Leave something for
you
your
know?
legacy.
Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
even when it's not even so much regulated to just the money, the investment in sharing ideals and good, even just a good introduction.
Right.
Like when we be greeting one another, that's good. But a lot of people's, man, they, and I see a lot of my at my job where they use different or negative connotations toward one another, and they feel okay with it.
Right.
You
Right.
know? Yep.
Political strategy. You want to tie into that?
Well, I
Anything you
think
want to
for
say?
the most part, what we're missing in our neighborhoods right now is the educational piece of financial literacy. One thing we need to do is understand what does that look like in our neighborhoods. How do we build wealth? How do we get that back in our communities? There, at one point in time, we had our own stock market. So, I mean, can we get that back again, or are we walking in fear?
Right.
So, for the most part, we have to make sure we understand what that looks like for us. I was just telling my son's friend today, he was talking about how different Alpharetta is from the east side and the south side. And I was telling him, I said, well, a lot is politics. A lot of it is.
Right.
But for the most part, what we have to do is we have to be able to be competitive. We have to be strengthened to compete in our neighborhoods. For one thing, we have to make sure that we get in the census that has been out, and what that does is that it puts numbers in our communities. Lets the what is it, the local and the state government know what's going on, how many people is actually living there. The more people that's represented in a neighborhood and in a community, the more funding is given to that area. Right. So if you're scared to fill out the census, and if you're the one thing that we're taught as Black folks is, hey, I don't want nobody in my business. I don't want to be a snitch and all that. But what you're doing is you're crumbling your neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. You're crumbling the society where you live in. Give back to your community as well, but be a part of what's going on. Right. So once you are a part of what's going on and you're giving back, right, and you're being a part of the city council meetings and your different things like that, because not only, I mean, Black people and white people, they represent, but only when something is going on and it is full. Right. So we need to make sure that we're represented like very well.
I ain't saying it
absolutely,
but I remember, as my parents and them, they was very active.
Very.
Of course. But I know it's different these days. It's a new generation, So that's why I say when I was at the press conference today, when I seen, them kids,
mm-hmm,
and how they was dressed and stuff. And I asked them, the parents, do they need anything? You have to reach out.
Oh, absolutely.
'Cause anybody can fall on hard times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I would not judge nobody. No one can judge as a man above.
That's right.
I'm blessed to have a job and things like that, but this pandemic that's going on, a lot of people are hurting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's going to get worse.
Yes.
You know, so I think we all need to. If you got something, even give them $1 or $5. Give them something, because again, God will bless you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They say it's better to give than to receive.
Right. And then don't think about it.
Right.
You know, if you give to somebody, you
Right.
bless somebody.
Right.
The
And
first
then
thing some people say, I wonder what they do with it. It doesn't matter.
They have to
You
deal with
give
that.
from your heart,
Right.
and let God deal with them with
Right.
whatever they're doing
Right.
with what
Right.
you gave.
Right. Everybody got to deal with that.
Oh, yeah.
You know? That's why I love this organization, because we doing the youth and outreach department is really about to go. It's really about to go.
They're doing big things. I see that.
Oh yeah, 2021 is the year. Praying on it. It's the year.
Oh, yeah.
But we got to let people know that we're serious.
Mm-hmm.
Because ain't nobody gonna give you if you're playing.
Right.
And things like that. So that's why I really love this organization and stuff like that. So, but like I said, stay safe out there.
Mm-hmm.
You see the numbers are going up. People are losing loved ones because of the coronavirus. Matter of fact, I want to say a prayer for James Jones. He's an activist like me, and he's trying to survive as we speak. He's in the hospital in Piedmont, and I know him. A lot of activists know him, and it's scary,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So don't think that you can't catch it, and things like that. Just, make sure you keep your immune system strong.
Mm-hmm.
I drink tea every day, black oil seed, if I get that or whatever, so I told myself if I catch it or whatever, I'm scared to go to the hospital. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because are they really doing their job? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's some stuff that you can take over the
Mhm.
counter that maybe can resolve the issue. Things like that. And this vaccine that's about to take place, I want to do some research before someone stick a needle in me.
Mhm.
I know that look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. And things like that. So you have any comment on the have you been following the situation about the vaccine?
Oh yes, sir.
What's your comment on that?
Well, they gonna get a vaccine to the elite peoples of the society first anyway. So, we gonna be in the middle somewhere within the middle. So we just gotta just pay attention to what's going on, the telltale signs. You will be able to see them.
Right.
I mean, we gotta take whatever precautions that we can in order to save our lives.
That's right.
That's just a gimme.
That's true.
Mhm.
And
That's true.
we don't know. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna just put it out there on the table. This could be a terrorist attack. They just don't want to scatter society. I don't believe that this stuff just came out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? I believe that America with
Yeah, it was planted here. I agree with that.
Mhm.
yeah, with because they killed, everybody got this mentality that they must kill their enemy, and when you got this type of mentality, your enemy don't forgive you for your killing, like you don't forgive your enemy, and it turns into that syndrome where you fighting or you killing one another, and life or humanity, what we about,
Right.
it takes a whole different perspective,
Right,
a whole
right.
different turn.
It's definitely a bigger picture. You're still
Yeah,
trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. It is.
Anything you want to add on to that?
Well, it is. Your conspiracy theory is validated. I mean, it very well could be something that happened that was given, and then all of a sudden it's just gone too far now. Don't know how to stop it.
Right.
One thing they were saying that they're going to try to give it to the vaccine to the Black communities that has the highest numbers of COVID cases, and into those areas. But what I think they're going to do, and what I've been researching, is they're going to have to give it to start in the hospitals first, and give it to those. So you better not catch it, because it's not, hey, you're going to play guinea pig on those people first. But what's really incredible about the whole thing is in 2 days, over 5,000 people lost their lives to COVID.
And a lot of we have a call.
Yes.
Real talk with New Order. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is Chairman Oz Nesbitt calling all the way from Rockdale County.
What's going on, black man?
I'm just as black as I can be, and I'm glad about it. I ain't going to apologize to nobody.
Okay, I guess called in. You know how they say black folks don't be on time. Look at you done called in early. I love that.
Man, look at man. Time is my most valuable resource.
Yes, sir.
So I don't like nobody wasting my time. and I know how y'all can be.
Right.
How y'all doing, bro?
We doing good, man. Before you go forward, let me
Doing
kind of
good.
introduce you some people to you, man. First of all, you're live on YouTube and on Facebook. In the studio, I have my National Economic Advisor, Noki Harder. And the only one you really met in the organization is Greg Giles and Leonard Jones, I think, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so you gotta meet the rest of the dream team.
Yeah, you sound like you showing up dream team there too, brother.
And I also have Miss Jeanette Mayfield in the studio. She's in the legal department. She works with a guy named John Drummond, who works remotely from Columbus, Ohio. They're over the legal department. Then we have a political strategist in the studio. Since you're in the politics, she might have some questions for you.
Well, you know, I welcome those questions. I like to tell people I'm in the people business.
Right. I can honestly say Oz is down to earth. I have a cell phone number. I don't have to go through his secretary. So I respect that, bro. 'Cause I know you probably get calls all the time.
Well, you know, one of the biggest things I try to do, and I honestly pride myself in being accessible, because so many people that get into these elected positions, as soon as they get in, they get the big head and get beside themselves, and they forget that they're supposed to be serving the people. The people
Absolutely.
not serving them. They're
Right,
supposed to be
right.
serving the people.
Right.
And then when you need them, they play dodgeball. So
Right.
I don't have that issue in Rockdale, and my citizens don't have that issue
Right.
in Rockdale
Right.
either. Absolutely.
Kind of explain to the viewers and listeners. I know now you was a part of the first. You was the chairman when y'all had the first in your county, the Martin Luther King parade in March. Is that correct, Chairman?
Well, the county government, let me be clear.
Okay.
The county government, we've never hosted a MLK parade, not the county government here at all. There was some local nonprofit folks who put together a couple of parades to commemorate Dr. King's holiday here in the community, but it was never hosted or led by the actual government itself. Yes, sir.
Right. What I can say is that, you know, when we think of the Dr. King program, we think about Fulton County. You know, we talk about Rockdale County. So actually it made history out there. Is I'm correct?
Oh, yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For them to have that event in Rockdale, that was something that had never taken place in this community before until the nonprofit group that hosted it a couple of years ago actually brought it forth. So you're absolutely right. There was no entity in this county that had done MLK program, a particular, I won't say program, but a parade in Rockdale. That's correct.
I was glad that me and Leonard was a part of history, and I know I received an award as well when I had a chance to attend that. And I think Shauna, you never met the vice president, have you, Shauna Swearington? Because I know she was out there with me a couple years ago as well when she went out there as well. I don't know if you met her, but I really say,
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can really say that your door is always open when I do call or whatever. You know, your door is always open. Even if there's an issue, you say, come to my office. I ain't got nothing to hide. So I really appreciate that. You know, so have you been paying attention about the other Metro County areas making history as far as African Americans winning these seats? Because, you know, I'm a resident of Cobb County, man, and I am amazed we got the first black DA, the first black sheriff, and also the first county chairwoman out here in Cobb. And you see what's going on throughout the Metro Atlanta area about these people winning seats?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm well aware. Yes, sir. And you're right. You guys have made some tremendous strides in Cobb County and with Chairwoman Lisa Cupid.
Correct.
We've got some big expectations of her and her leadership to come. But all across the metro area, there's been a lot of African Americans taking seats and winning these elected positions. And while we're on that subject, let me just take a moment and say that it's so important that we are in leadership, but we have to remember when we get in leadership, we have to do the people's business.
That's right.
And as I was saying a moment ago, oftentimes and on too many occasions, people of color get into these roles and they get twisted. And we have had multiple examples as to what not to do as an elected official, and sure enough, what not to do as a black elected official. So, and let me just say this too, because I love my people. I love the history and the heritage of my people. But I'll tell you, oftentimes inside of our own communities, it's our own people who are seeking to tear us down. And so we have to remind those black elected officials, hats off to all of those all across the region who's been elected. You know, a lot of times we love to be quick to say, I'm the first black this, I'm the first. Okay, I'm going to ask you the same question James Brown asked Bobby. What you going to do now?
Right.
That's right. So, Chairman, what made you get into politics? I know you're originally from Augusta, Georgia. What made you want to get into the public life?
Well, I've always had an appetite. I spent 15 years in law enforcement as an extremely young man in Augusta. I've always been active in my community as a kid. I grew up in a church where we were completely involved in church activities, and my aunt, who raised me, was a 33-year veteran school teacher and very active in the community. And I followed her all over the community in her shadow, and she exposed me to civics and exposed me to building the power of building relationships. And having grown up in public housing myself in the 70s and the 80s, I know the struggle of black people. I know the struggle of poor people. I know the struggle of those who I know the taste of sugar water, and I've had a few mayonnaise sandwiches before. So I get it. And although I've had the taste of sugar water and I've eaten a few mayonnaise sandwiches, still there's
government cheese.
No
Hey.
I don't believe in throwing no pity party and
That's
making
right.
no excuses.
Right.
I don't believe in, a lot of times people look for a crutch in a minute. I ain't got time for no crutch, because everybody's got a story, and you don't have to be black to have a story. You can
That's
be white,
right.
you can be polka dot or stripe, and you can have a story too. So we have to remember that, because sometimes we as black folks think we the only folks that have been through something. We ain't the only folks been through something.
That's right.
That's right.
I remember the Vienna sausages and the potty meat
Potted
and
meat, honey.
the government cheese and all that. You know what I mean? So I remember them days. But the black family seemed like it was stronger back then. We had family meetings and stuff like that. So but like I said, we can't give up on our young generation. And things like that. So, because it's a different era. So, as far as the Rockdale County, what's the percentage of black people out there?
Rockdale County is a 70-30 split in terms of the demographics out there. Blacks are truly the majority here.
Okay.
And I will say that we have
It used to not be that way.
a good shift of retired blacks who are retiring from the northern states, transitioning back to the South, because the cost of living and the cost of home ownership and land is a lot lower than in the northern. And a lot of those people who retired out of the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, D.C., even from the West Coast, those are educated black folks.
That's right.
And they are coming into Rockdale County. And again, they're looking for space and land and property, and they want to be in a safe community as well. And I'm proud to say that Rockdale County is definitely among the safest counties in the whole state of Georgia. We really are.
Right. Oh, the crime. What far as crime wise?
Absolutely. We have people, we have citizens, so we're not crime free. But in terms of, when you watch the evening news,
Mm-hmm.
there are a few counties in the metro that's going to always make the evening news, and they may have.
We can name them. We can name them, but I don't want to do that.
You also have a lot of foreign and people moving in from other nations and nationalities. I know that my my oldest son, had a really good friend that went to Rockdale High School, and the high school was gravitating towards the Chinese, Asian Americans, and different nationalities coming in. What do you think about that? Is that growing? Is it still growing?
I think it's a beautiful thing because
Right.
anytime that you can create a more diverse demographic or diverse population, you have more opportunities to grow and learn from different people and different cultures. So I embrace it. I think it's a wonderful thing, that because as you stated a minute ago, this is a different day in a different world. So we certainly need to be exposed to different cultures,
Right.
different ways of life, and we need to know how to respect different cultures and different ways of
That's
life.
right.
And we learn people better. We learn how to build better relationships and rapport and interact with people better when we get a chance to learn the differences. That's a part of the plight and the argument of the black folks for years. White America didn't slow down long enough to get to know who we are and understand some of our concerns and our issues.
Right.
But luckily, that has changed. And I think anytime that we can embrace even more difference in different cultures and different nationalities, that's always a wonderful thing when people can come from different places and learn how to dwell together.
Well, I can't tell you, Chairman, as the organization New Order, we do try to support our own, and because there's a lot of issues going on in the community, and things. Because I know before you put on that chairman face, you black as me, so there's issues going on. So are there a lot of black-owned businesses out in your county?
We do. We have a good number of, and in fact, yesterday I just hosted a economic development summit. It was a one-day summit, and the core of our message was progressing through the pandemic. And we had 90% of all the participants and the attendees in that event were African American owned businesses.
Oh, okay.
And of that percentage, about 80% of those were black female, were black women. And we did have an Asian female amongst that crowd yesterday as well. Absolutely.
Matter of fact, I think I seen that on social media. Anybody else have any questions for the chairman?
I just got one more. What do you
go
think
ahead.
about your political person? I don't know what it is right now, but Vernon Jones doing the election part. What do you think about what he had going on?
Well, I wanted to give my brother a minute to stop laughing because I didn't want my answer to be tied to his laughing. So let me give you my answer. Vernon Jones is Vernon Jones. I think Vernon Jones is one of the most smartest individuals that have come through the eastern quarter of politics here in the Atlanta area. He did some wonderful things.
Yes, he did.
In DeKalb County, and that should never be erased or be attempted to be erased. His tie and his connection to Donald Trump and the Republican Party, I'm going to chalk that up as being a personal Vernon Jones decision. I think the people of Georgia and the people of DeKalb County and the Atlanta region, they'll all make their own mind up as to what Vernon Jones means to them individually on tomorrow. And what I mean by on tomorrow, if Mr. Jones ever decide to put his name on the ballot, the decision will be left up to the people. I've always had respect for Vernon, and just because he decided to do something different, I'm not going to still wave, give him a fat fist bump or high five, because I don't believe you turn around on people like that. And I appreciate the work that he did do in DeKalb County. But his political choices is just like deciding whether you want to put mayonnaise, mustard, or ketchup on your hot dog. It's your choice. And his choice is going to make room for him one way or the other. And I'm going to leave it at that. So that's my position on it, because, every person has their right to decide what they want to do. He's made his choice. There was old saying, the old folks, you say, you make your bed, you're going to have to lay in it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my experience with Vernon Jones back in, if Ifat Muhammad, right?
I know it very
Okay,
well.
you remember when her brother was killed?
She's a ball of fire and has done some wonderful work here in Rockdale County. Absolutely.
Right. When her brother was killed by the DeKalb County Police Department, Vernon Jones was the CEO of DeKalb County. So I had plenty of sit downs with Vernon Jones and spoke with him, but we had a very interesting conversation on the phone, about what was going on. And I wish I had it recorded. It's very funny when you.
You may need to do a Vernon Jones show. I don't know why you talking about Vernon Jones while you got me on the phone, because I ain't got nothing to do with Vernon Jones.
No.
That was my question.
You need to have a Vernon Jones show. Right now, you're talking to the chairman of Rockdale County.
Right. That's true. We'll let that go. Yeah, we'll let that go. You're right. This is your show today.
You done took a cup of coffee, a cup of cocoa, and
actually, Maria brought it up.
I brought it up as I just brought it up. Sorry about that.
Nah, this good. That's one thing. Is real talk with New Order. We kind of say anything over the airways. But Chairman, so what is when you ran for office, what was your first priority when you first stepped on the scene as far as issues to address?
Well,
in Rockdale County,
public safety has always been my number one top priority. Now that I've served 4 years as chairman, and we're getting ready to move into another 4 years that the people have afforded us, public safety is still my number one top priority. But right next to public safety, I will tell you, is economic development. And I am so proud of the progress that we've made in Rockdale County as we've navigated through this pandemic. And I'm also excited about the fact that it looks like a vaccine will be making its way to us here in the next 90 days. And if that does happen and we can get on the other side of this pandemic and start moving from an economic development standpoint, to the point I made just yesterday at the event where we had small business people together, that's very important. So economic development and public safety are my top two priorities. We've got a ton of other things that we are dealing with, that we are addressing here in Rockdale County, but all of it stems around public safety and economic development and how we can keep the lights on, keep people employed, and keep some good revenues flowing through our community.
Right.
Earlier, we were just talking about financial literacy. What is your agenda for putting that back into the community?
Well, I think one of the things that's a very good question, and I like what you just said about financial literacy. One of the things that we will be doing from a government standpoint is offering our economic development and empowerment summit like we did on yesterday. We're going to bring that to the people of Rockdale on a quarterly basis, empowering people, engaging them, making them aware of resources and tools that will help them individually and, of course, help them as small business and entrepreneurs to get their businesses thriving and making that cash register ring. That's so important. And let me just say, we have a good number of African-American businesses here in Rockdale County, but I'm the chairman for all of the citizens in Rockdale. I'm not the chairman for Black Rockdale or White Rockdale.
Right.
I understand
for
that.
the
Right.
entire county.
Right.
And so certain that we bring tools and resources and information and put it out there for as many people to take advantage of as possible. Absolutely.
Right.
Great.
Let me ask you, sir. I don't know if you put your hands in this. You remember the young man that was found dead inside the jail out there?
Charlie Tilson. Yes.
Correct. Is that something that the chairman can address to look into, or is that out of your hands when stuff like that happens?
Let me respond to. I want to encourage you and hopefully those in your listening audience that's listening to this broadcast.
Mhm.
I want them to prepare to hear what I'm about to say.
Okay.
First off, I want to say that our hearts and prayers go out to Charlotte Tilson's family.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been told that as a parent, you never really want to
Lose a child.
experience the loss of
Mm.
one of your own children.
Right.
Mhm.
So regardless of how you experience that loss, it's still a loss, and you just don't want to experience that as a parent.
Right.
The chairman, the office of the chairman,
Mm-hmm.
is an elected. I'm an elected official, elected by the citizens of Rockdale County.
Right.
I am not. I want you to let me get this out, because I want nobody to mishear nothing what I'm saying.
You all ears. Go ahead.
I am not the boss of the sheriff.
Right.
The sheriff is an elected official,
Mhm.
and his primary responsibility as the chief law enforcement officer of Rockdale County is to keep the citizens safe. That means the citizens out on the street, the citizens in the jail, the citizens in the courthouse. Citizens being all people in the courthouse, all people in the jail, all people in the street. He is the chief law enforcement officer for the whole county. He is the sheriff. He's elected by the people. So if the people have a problem with him, the people got to express their problem at the polls.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And during that time, Mr. Tilson's death, I received a ton of calls and inquiries in the chairman's office, and I had to redirect those calls over to the sheriff's office, because I'm not the sheriff. I had a lot of people say, "Well, what you gonna do? When you gonna fire? When you gonna give?" Well, I didn't hire him. I'm not his boss.
Right.
So, and I think, and that's okay. I just took a moment to kind of clear that up in terms of the protocol and how it works, because a lot of people really just didn't know or don't know.
Right.
At the end of the day, when any type of civil lawsuit is filed against the sheriff's office, ultimately, it's the board of commissioners that's going to satisfy the payout.
Gotcha.
Okay, because the
Okay.
board of commissioners in every county is the governing authority that pays for everything. That's where the money flows from, is from the commissioner's office.
Right.
So, no matter what the sheriff does, good, bad, or indifferent on any given day, if it's going to be a liability, the citizens are going to pay, and that money is going to be directed out of the commissioner's office. So that's how that works. I feel for the family. I would hope that the sheriff's office have made the necessary adjustments and corrections and done those things as it relates to their own set of policies and procedures within the jail and their operations to prevent something like that from happening again. And one of the things I do know that the sheriff has done, they've instituted a new healthcare provider in the jail, and I know that's a result of some things dealing with mental illness and mental health,
That's
and it
good.
had a lot
That's
to
good.
do from the Tilson
Right.
incident as well. Absolutely.
I can't tell you that. I remember one. I never told you, but I got stopped in Rockdale County. But I know it ain't what you know, is who you know. So I say, hey, I know Mr. Nesbitt. They go his phone number. I know the sheriff in Rockdale County. So I kind of use that. You know what I mean? Because you never know. I ain't gonna lie to you. I keep your business.
Let me push back, because you're doing a lot of laughing and giggling. So let me push back. What did you get stopped up?
I can't remember. I don't know. I was coming from Augusta.
Okay.
I had a
Okay, so that's okay. That's okay that you can't remember. I want you to remember me telling you this though.
Right.
I'm about to tell you something. Because not only am I the chairman, I was a police officer for 15 years in my life.
right.
And
Right.
I'm gonna tell you this. If you get stopped by the police, all you got to do is what they tell you to do. You don't need to start name dropping and all the people. If you driving too fast, slow down.
Right.
If you run the red light,
Right.
you done ran the red light. You don't need to start saying all these folks. That ain't gonna do you no good.
Right. I just thought I'd throw that. Sometimes we have to laugh. There's so much going on. Sometimes you gotta laugh sometimes. But I do understand.
You hey, look, I had a fella at the barbershop just a couple of weeks ago say, I need to call the sheriff. I said, what you need to call him about? Well, my wife got a ticket. I said, well, hell, she needs to pay the ticket.
Right.
What you need to call the sheriff?
Right.
She got a ticket.
Right.
If she was speeding, she was supposed to get a ticket.
All right.
That's true. You're right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You're right.
I don't know why folks get so twisted and think if the officer gave you a ticket, his job is to be courteous, polite, and professional, and write you that ticket to hopefully slow your butt down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you don't need to be calling all over town to see if somebody fix a ticket for you. Just pay the ticket.
Just pay the ticket.
Right.
And I'm so glad you told me we was live on the air, because I almost used a couple of words.
Right.
And I know this is real talk, so Mr. Rose, I'm gonna keep it real,
Right.
Because we have people listening, and we don't want to put off a not so good impression, and folks think just because they get speed or ticket or whatever, they supposed to just start calling the local politician. No, you're supposed to go down to the sheriff's office and pay the ticket.
Right. That is very true. But I've been in your hometown several times. You remember Sheriff Strength?
Of course.
Oh,
Yes,
he
sir.
didn't like me, Chairman. I spoke at Lucy Laney High School down there as well, the black school.
Okay. Yes, sir. I'm familiar.
Yeah, because I know you're from Augusta, but we've been down to your hometown dealing with some things, back in the day or whatever. So Augusta is a nice, there's a lot of black people there, the home of James Brown, and things like that. I kind of networked with the Nation of Islam, and they kind of looked out for me in Augusta. So I like going to your hometown. I had spoke at one of the school board meetings talking to addressing special needs kids, how they was being mistreated in the classroom. But it was kind of weird when we spoke at Lucy Laney High School. This is a black school, but they said we was talking too much black history. We weren't allowed to go back, which I didn't understand that, but that's what it is. But I like Augusta. I like to go there and do a lot of networking. And Miss Angela Harding, correct?
Yes, sir. I know. And let me just tell you, Augusta, for those who are listening, Augusta is the second largest city in the state of Georgia outside of the city of Atlanta. Augusta is the second. A lot of people who move, watch this, a lot of people who move to the state of Georgia and they come here to Atlanta, they forget, or some of them don't even know, they refer to Atlanta as Georgia. Well, Atlanta is just Atlanta. You have Augusta, Columbus, Macon,
Savannah.
Albany. You've got plenty of the cities throughout the state that make up the state. And Augusta is the second largest city. There's over 300,000 people in Augusta.
Wow.
And in fact, Richmond County Sheriff's Office,
Mm-hmm.
which is in Augusta, is the largest sheriff's office in the entire state. It's a full-service sheriff. They are the largest in the entire state. That includes a bigger than any sheriff's office here in the metro Atlanta area. Yeah, Richmond County has the largest sheriff's office in the whole state of Georgia.
And what's the black college there in Augusta?
Payne College.
Payne.
Mhm.
Okay.
Payne,
Right.
Payne College, HBCU. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes,
So did you
sir.
hold office in Augusta or just here in Rockdale County?
Say again now?
Did you hold any public office in your hometown or just here in Rockdale County?
Just here in Rockdale. I never held public office in Augusta. I was a policeman there till the time that I left. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay. Anybody else have any? We ain't gonna hold you too long, Chairman. You got a question for?
No,
him?
I appreciate you, Brother Rose, for
Okay.
even inviting me on your show.
No problem.
And I think these kinds of conversations and dialogue, and let me just encourage you again, continue to get, particularly a lot of these newly elected officials who just gotten on board, just been elected. We've got to, number one, you have an opportunity to build a positive and proactive relationship with them, because in the people business, things are going to happen.
Right.
And I think that when local mayors, county chairmen, and county commissioners, and county sheriffs, and city police chiefs, when they have a relationship with folks like you all, there's nothing for anybody to duck and dodge and run from.
Right.
Because you gotta understand that things happen. In the case of Charlie Timpson here in Rockdale County, Sheriff Levitt didn't keep Charlie Timpson himself. That he's the sheriff over, and if there was some mishaps or missteps, he being the sheriff is the one to be held accountable. But I think when you have, here's the thing, it's not that things are going to happen, it's how we respond to stuff and
Right.
how we react to stuff when things do happen. So
When
I
they
think
do
you have an
happen, yeah.
opportunity, you have a wonderful opportunity to, people should see, oh man, that's Gerald Rose, and start ducking and dodging. No, you want to build an alliance with people because there's always multiple sides to every story.
Absolutely.
So,
That's true.
Right.
I've always said I'm the father of 4 children, and I've always said to my children when they were school age, listen, I'm gonna be there. No matter what you need, I'm gonna be there. But I need you to tell me the whole story so that I don't run up there looking like a fool.
Right. Well, I can honestly say,
Right.
Chairman, I have a relationship with most of the sheriffs in Metro Atlanta area, and things like that. It's been hard work, a lot of work. When I first moved down here from Ohio, didn't nobody know who I was or whatever, and things like that. A lot of doors was closed in my face, but now they understand that what we're about or whatever. And they thought New Order, they thought it was this racial militant organization, and then they found the background about my dad and things like that. Doors started opening up and things like that. So I just want to thank you all for never ignoring my phone calls and things like that, because like you said, you are a people's person and we need you all and things like that. So again, I want to thank you for coming on.
You're always welcome in Rockdale County. In fact, there's a true purpose for New Order, because I think having organizations like yours help keep people like me and others doing what we're supposed to do. You have to have watchdogs out there in the community. Sometimes people get a little irritated by the watchdogs, but I
Right.
think it's good and healthy to have people that are paying attention and people who are going to hold folks accountable.
Right.
I don't think you should be lurking around looking and waiting on something to go bad, go wrong. But I think having those relationships and being present keeps honest people honest. Keep
Right.
them doing
Right.
the right thing.
Right.
So, and then when you do have those relationships with those folks that mean the people real good and real well, I think when you see an opportunity to go and defend those people, I think you should do that too. I think when you have a chance to speak up for someone who has been wrongly accused of something, or the story's been spent the wrong way, I think when you see that opportunity, you should say, you know what, wait a minute.
Right.
I don't think she's that way, or I don't think he's that way because we've got this type of rapport, this type of relationship, and I know this person. So I think when you find those opportunities, you got to put that out there as well. Absolutely.
Well, one thing about New Order, we don't take cases off emotions. We go off facts. Everything got to be documentation. You know, it's very important, you know, and things like, cause some people ain't telling the truth. You got some people do tell the truth, you know, but we have to
Right.
cover our bases as well. So we don't want any kind of lawsuits, you know, and things
Right.
like that. So Chairman, thank you again for calling in. Hopefully next time we can get you into the studio, you know, and things like that. Appreciate all what you're doing out there. Any final thing you like to say before we let you go?
Yes, sir. Keep wearing your mask. Stay 6 feet apart. Don't do a whole bunch of gathering. Make sure as many people can get to the poll. We got to get Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff elected to the state senate.
Yes,
we
yes.
got to make this happen. We've turned Georgia blue. We got to keep it blue, and this is real. And we got to get people out there to vote and keep Georgia moving in the right direction. I'm excited about what Leader Stacey Abrams has been able to do for the people of Georgia, in Georgia, and we have a real opportunity here. So I want to encourage everybody that's listening to this broadcast, stay safe. We still have a pandemic. This coronavirus is very serious, and we can go out and vote. I'm old school, so everybody can't get out there, but I'm going physically to the polls. I'm going early voting.
Right.
And I'm gonna make sure I cast my ballot in person, and I'm voting for Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, so we can continue to move. Because President-elect Joe Biden and President and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris are going to need some help. They are going to need some help.
Right.
So we gotta do our part to help them. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Y'all be blessed.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, you too. And congratulations.
That was Rockdale County Chairman Oz Nesbitt of Rockdale County, who I know personally. I have met with him when, of course, I need to question something, but his door is always open. You know, and like I said, this is Real Talk with New Order. I got some other people that's going to be coming in, being on the show, because like he said, we need to have people know who we are. You know, and things. I did reach out to the new elected DeKalb County Sheriff as well. Of course, we had Rashad Ritchie in here. We're going to go to a quick break. This is Real Talk with New Order. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Thank you, Catherine. All right. Welcome back to Real Talk with New Order, live on DISCO100 Radio. We're on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We just got off the phone with Rockdale County Chairman Oz Nesbitt. About a couple weeks ago, we had Martin Luther King III on this show. We had Rashad Ritchie. We had Dr. Keith Slaughter. It's just the beginning. You know, to my New Order family, I love y'all. Half of them that's saying hi or whatever live on my Facebook feed. It ain't I, but we. Am I perfect? No. Do I make mistakes? Yes. But God knows my heart. No one's perfect. You know, we're just going to continue to do the work. We get a lot of calls for help. You know, and things. Just the fact, if you do call us, make sure that you fill out documentation, because we have to cover ourselves as an organization. So listening to the chairman, political strategist, what is your input? Maybe you might need to run for. Did you say you're gonna try to run for office for one day?
I said that I was.
You know, Miss Chandler, in Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
Keisha, part of New Order, she ran for office.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
so when you hear stuff, does that kind of push you to run for office?
It is encouraging. It is encouraging. And I mean, doing research and you see other people doing it and you don't, in the past, as a young woman, when you look at people in politics, you think it is so far away because I never saw myself. I never
But you see
was,
yourself
I,
going that
I,
way?
I actually do because I mean, it's just all about, it's just, you just take who you are and your experiences and you add an agenda to it and then you put it out there for people and that's all what politics is. It should not be just, a lot of people say, it's not a way of life. What it is it's an agenda for the people, not for you but for everybody, and it's
But
something
everybody
that
ain't gonna agree,
everybody is not going to
Right,
agree.
right,
But I have a cousin whose wife won her seat in Florida this year, and can't remember her name, but his name is Christopher Thomas. His wife won her seat
First time running?
First time running, and she won her seat in Florida as a senator. And I mean, it's
State
encouraging.
senator?
Yes,
Okay.
and it's encouraging. I'm thinking, okay,
Why not
it's,
you, huh?
It's not that bad. I mean, I hear the echoes in the back that says, you be careful. You never know what's gonna happen. Certain things do happen. Politics is very corrupt. It's very sometimes low line and low key
you can't
things that
ignore
happen.
it, you know what I
You
mean?
can't ignore it, and what you have to do is you have to be transparent. Everything that you say has to be something either you have lived or something that you believe, that you can't just go back on this. You can't just say one thing, put yourself out there, and then all of a sudden you take off and go the opposite direction. People,
They're gonna bring all that up.
right? If people want to be able to believe in,
Trust.
if you say something, I want to be able to believe that because I don't know who you are besides what you say. And like back in the day, he said, "Word is bond." My dad used to say that all the time. I never knew what he was talking about, but as an older female being in this thing called life, you understand that now. What you say means everything, and then when it has to be backed up by words, and when you do that,
Right.
when you say one thing and you live it out before the people, that puts trust out there. We have lost a lot of that in politics, so we got to get that back. When you say something, I got to be able to see you do it, and I got to be able to believe that you're going to do what you say you're going to do.
Right.
Yeah, when you say word is bond, what it mean is, just like when somebody go to jail, they get a bond. So in order to get out, they got to pay that money.
Bond,
but
right.
your word is your bond.
Uh-huh.
But I wanted to say this about politics, man, because politics, man, is such a tricky game.
Mm-hmm. Say
and-
that.
And you gotta be able to sway public opinion. You got to be able to change hearts and minds to be elected by your constituents. You got to be a Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying? You just got to have some kind of way to manipulate the people that's going to punch those ballots. And people's come up with all kinds of ploys and tricks
Mm-hmm.
and strategies. You know what I'm saying? I personally, I just see it as a money grab. Majority of the peoples that get off up into it, they get rich.
That's true.
They
Absolutely.
get rich.
Now you think about this, and I was thinking about this when they was talking about Mitch McConnell, who's the Senate, majority leader. He has been in politics over 40-something years. From my understanding, there is a voting every 2 years for those seats. So if you have a voting every 2 years for a seat, for 22 years, he has been an incumbent. So how is it that you can become an incumbent for 22 years and never get taken off your seat? Because people don't think about stuff like that. In the state of Georgia, the reason why we having this runoff is because when the people voted, they didn't vote completely all the way down the ticket. They just went in and vote for the president, and they didn't worry about the other ones. Some of them did, some of them didn't. So now you having a runoff. So what you do is the literacy part, the educational part of what you do as a constituent, like that word. That means a voter, someone that can vote. So as a constituent, what is the expectation of me as a person that can vote? What do I need to do? And it's very overwhelming because you like, okay, every 2 years I gotta vote for this, and every 4 years I gotta vote for this. And then you have these little mini things that come in, that you're voting for. And that's, when you think about it, it's not a lot. But because our lives are so always busy and you're going and going, you have to find time to put that in there. That's why I always, on my podcast, I always tell people, have some people in the neighborhood that's always going to the city council meetings. And then they come back and they tell you about what's going on. Get back into having community meetings if it's once a month. Hey, I went to the city council meeting last month. This is what was said. Now, this is what we got to do, y'all. And then you do it as have a collaborative effort in the communities and let it be known. I mean, everybody's not going to go. No, a lot of people don't like politics. When I told my mother and my family that I was political strategist, they said, because you talk all the time. I'm like, no,
One thing I could say
I
is that
love politics.
You do a lot of research.
I do a lot of research. And right now, the reason why, well, for one thing, two things, the reason why I have not did any podcasting lately, I have, my family has gone through a lot with this coronavirus.
Right.
And I've been in touch with you. My mother had coronavirus, and it struck her down pretty bad, but she didn't have to go to the hospital. I had a first cousin that we buried on Wednesday from the coronavirus. And then I had a family friend that passed away yesterday from coronavirus, and it has been hitting our family very hard. My sister and her children had it. My son had it. He was in Atlanta, came back. We had to put him in the hotel because he didn't have any insurance. That's another thing. I ain't good on that. He didn't have any insurance. They didn't give him anything. But whenever I went and I got tested, they loaded me down with all this medication, and I wanted to go off, but you can't get put in jail. If you start fussing at the hospital, they will lock you up real quick because they don't have time. They're not going to do it like before. You could go in and you can kind of like have it out. No, the first time they have police officers everywhere. They don't want you in there in the beginning. So when you go in, if you're coming in, if you pick your fight, you're going straight to jail. So I couldn't say, well, my son was just here. Why didn't you give him something? Nothing. He was in a hotel for 2 weeks and a half. And I was looking at my son and I was like, I'm going to come back and he's not going to be here. It hits different when you see it. You can talk all day, but when you see a loved one that's stricken with it, and I didn't know whether to take him back to the hospital or the emergency room and say, hey, my son is suffering these concoctions to build up his immune system or whatever. And I would ask him, okay, son, how are you feeling? I'm okay. I just need to sleep. But I remember what Cuomo said when he had it. He said the disease wants you to lay down. It wants you to you just lay down and just succumb to it. But I told him, get up, get out in the sunshine, really, really get your body going and moving and get your blood flowing. That's for one thing. And it just kind of hit. Plus, in politics right now, it's just an overkill. Everything, every news station, everybody's saying the same thing. So if you turn the TV on, you already are aware of what's going on.
Well, I'm just glad. I'm just glad that your family. I know you've been going through stuff, and one thing I can tell is that, it's a privilege when something is going on with somebody's in the organization. They call and tell me. I'm like, okay, it's okay to share the information. I'd be shocked. It's like a privilege when they be telling me personal stuff, and things like that. So. But next week, we're going to have Kent Osborne in here, who's Shanier's husband. I want him to tell this message. He went from a prisoner to power. So he's going to be our special guest. He's coming into the studio next week. I'm excited about that because, when some people, like you said, you done turned your life around. So people need to see this.
Yes.
Our young people. So
Absolutely.
He's coming in next week to tell his testimony, what made him, even though he made a mistake in life, he came out and is a better man. So I'm excited about next week's show, and things like that. So we're gonna keep doing what we're doing as an organization, You know, we still have a lot of work to do. You know, just the fact that they're dedicated,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see on y'all side of this, y'all stay active, hitting me up, texting me, and things like that. You know, and stuff like that. So we have a great team. You know, and I always ask God, why me? He said, why not? You know, once my situation was over with, you know, He has blessed me
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. But He could take it away. That's why you got to stay humble, man.
Right.
That's why when I seen them kill that mom, I don't know. I can't judge her, talk about her because she she lost her job and everything.
Right.
So how can I talk about her? But you got people like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't be like that, man. Anybody could fall on hard times.
That's right.
I don't care who you are.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You could be cocky you want to, okay?
Yep.
But you might be playing with the wrong one.
At any
Yeah,
time, it
they
can
like
happen
it.
to any of us.
Yeah, yeah. That's why when my sister was out there real bad, God turned her life around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we lost my mom when we was young, but that was her way of grieving. Got on
Yeah.
drugs bad.
Yeah.
Sold my dad car for 50 cents
Wow.
for some drugs. I'm not making that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But never served a time in prison. Every time, God, yeah. She
Wow.
did. You know, so
Now
it
that's
can happen
a
to
bliss.
anybody's family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Mhm.
me, I can't judge no one. You know, but you got to want to help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
that's why people in New Orleans, some people been there and done that. Can't tell nobody business, but that's why they so hungry. 'Cause
Right.
They have a message to tell.
Right.
I can't tell a message like that,
Mm-hmm.
like they can. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So that's why that's their outlet to get their message out.
Right.
You know, that's why I love this organization. You know, and things like that. And that's why Noki, that's why I immediately wanted to reach out to you as my co-host. You know,
Yeah.
and things like that because it's you a smart brother, man. I had to get on you. Just start doing your YouTube videos on your poetry. I don't know what you're waiting on. When I first met, now you working on the book, right?
Yeah,
You want to
yeah.
kind of explain your book right quick that
Well,
you're working on?
Yeah, it's called The Never Ending Game. And, you know, speaking about some of the issues that we talk about every week, I kind of, you know, put some of the ideas out there in which that I want to spread. But the main thing is like what you was talking about politics.
Mhm.
See, when I see my check and I look at how they tax me,
All right.
I be
Come
like,
on.
how my tax dollars paying for rockets and bombs, but you can't get her son medication.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Wow, that's
Mhm.
deep.
I'm telling you.
because they sit up there and they sell us a remedy to our problems,
Mm-hmm.
but then you will take our money and buy, like I said, rockets and bombs, and go conquer other countries and do other things in the name of democracy or whatever they want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then still mistreat the peoples who paying your salary,
That's right.
you know, and you know this is that's the reason why it's called the never ending game.
Mm. So when is going your time to get release it? You would say
Well, you know, I'm still in
in the early stages.
I am not in the early stage. I got over 11,000 words,
Okay.
you know,
Mm.
in print, but I still want to consolidate the whole story,
Right.
you know, because I want to draw
You got the part in there about the grandkids ain't allowed to have no toys at your house.
well, I mean, it's gonna be a part in there because it ain't gonna be, you know, particularly to that, but
Right.
you know, when I came to the realization, and I told my wife this, I said, when I found out Santa Claus wasn't real, and this
There we
how-
go.
this is how it's, you know, a true story. My uncle Larry, you know, we stayed right across the street from the tavern called the Back Door on 16th Street.
Right.
My grandmother stayed at 222 East 16th Street in Chicago Heights.
Right.
And I was 5 years old. So I was told that, you know, Santa Claus and everything, and we getting ready for Christmas. So my uncle took me over to the tavern, and the people was like telling my uncle, "No, cause you know this baby too young to be in here, take him out." But he trying to introduce me to my father. So he took me out the place and told me, "Wait right here, this your daddy car." So I waited right there by my father's car, and he come out. He told me to get in. I got in the car with him, and then I asked him, because my mama told me, when you see your daddy, ask him what he gonna get you for Christmas. So I asked him what he gonna get me for Christmas. He say, son, I ain't gonna lie to you. He said, ain't gonna be no Christmas this year. He said, Santa Claus died in an airplane crash. You know?
Oh, at
So,
5.
At 5. So here it is. You know,
They give me real.
I was woke up
Uh-huh.
in the middle of the night doing Christmas, and they go Santa Claus, they go to sled, but I ain't know the type of games they was playing with me psychologically. You know what I'm saying? Even as a
Oh
child.
my.
But my whole thing is that I never lied to my kids about this imaginary thing. I always told them, real things,
Right.
and real themes. Cap it, like they say, DISCO100. I cap it 100. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell those lies.
Right.
And once we realized that Santa Claus wasn't real, it changed my whole perspective on Christmas. You know? Now, if we gonna keep it on a religious level and we talk about Jesus and we celebrate his life, then you know that's something different. But you telling me about Santa Claus and all this here other stuff and your gifts, then no, I don't play those games.
Right. We have to respect.
I really
that.
hate that you went through that. I really do. I mean, I never taught my children about Santa, the Easter Bunny, even the Tooth Fairy. I never talked about them.
We got a call
but
coming in.
okay.
Hey, I'll tell
That thought.
Real Talk Blue Water, what's your name and where you calling from?
John Drummond, Chief of Staff,
I knew it.
Ohio.
What's up, John? We knew you was calling in, bro. What's going on, man? Maria's in the studio saying, when John calling in?
What's going on, New Order family? Look here, man. When I start calling in, I want y'all to give me a segment called I Got Your Back. Look here, no. Ain't no fat white man coming down. No black person killing me on Christmas time. We've been told that lie. Time to stop telling the kids, the grandkids, everybody else that lie. Sure.
Yo.
We need to start calling this segment I Got Your Back, man. I'm chief of staff, and that's basically what I do. I make sure that, you know what I'm saying, New Order is covered. And, Gerald, I have to speak about Chairman Nesbitt. First, congratulations for him being elected to a position. But at the same time, man, we want to talk politics. Let's talk politics for real, because politics is about relationships.
Right.
And
he hyped.
Chairman Nesbitt, he kind of dropped the ball because he automatically assumed that when you got pulled over, that you had done something wrong.
Right.
I seen the video. I remember when you and Leon.
You remember when I got stopped?
Y'all got pulled over, and you had not done one thing.
Right, right.
So yes, we are supposed to have those relationships where we can use those relationships. Everybody else doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Nepotism is how sons and families get hired into business.
I feel it. I feel
and
the
I
same
know
way. Yeah.
Chairman Nesbitt knows that, but like I said, I call in just to make sure that everybody's on their P's and Q's.
Right. Yeah, I remember that, man. When me and Leon got pulled over, and I didn't budge. I was going off on that cop.
Assume that you done did something wrong. He was like, "Well, go pay your ticket. You ain't got no ticket to pay. You ain't did nothing wrong."
Right.
If Chairman Nesbitt called us wanting some help, we're not going to automatically assume Chairman Nesbitt done did something wrong.
Right.
Keeping it real. You're right.
And that's the reason why I really didn't have nothing to say. And I didn't want to attack the brother or push back on him and nothing like that. But
I seen it.
Yeah.
But perspective is relevant. That was just his perspective of what he thought your conversation was all about. But you don't always.
Certainly. And, once you get to know me, you understand that, I say everything in jest. And, like I said, congratulations to Chairman Nesbitt and him being elected. You know what I'm saying? We need more black officials, especially in Cobb County, especially in Rockdale and counties like that, and especially in counties up here in Ohio where the racism and the hatred.
Boy.
So, we definitely need love up this way. But
Right.
I was just calling in, showing my love.
Hey,
y'all keep doing what y'all do.
I miss you. Hey, bro, I miss you on Facebook, man. Hey, John, I miss you on Facebook.
Man, I knew you was gonna bring up Facebook. Sometimes we must separate ourselves from certain types of social media that can have you entrapped when, you know what I'm saying, you think too much about it or think too much into it or think that it's doing something for you. Sometimes you have to remove yourself from that.
But you know what?
You know,
Jokes aside, John. If they ever took Facebook away, New Order survive anyway. You feel me?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So when you take that leave like that, it don't even really bother me. You know what I mean? When you do that, because you're there off Facebook.
Certainly. Every year I do it on purpose.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a purpose thing. It's a self help type of deal where I say, well, you know, social media doesn't control me. I control it.
Right.
So I just remove myself from it just to let me know that I can do it.
Right.
You know, not so I won't be thinking I'm having some type of hunger pains from it.
I really appreciate what you and Jeanette doing. Y'all doing a wonderful job, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, y'all have a blessed evening, man. And I'm sitting here, I'm exercising a little bit and watching the program. So
you must be on Facebook unless you're on YouTube.
girl, you need to leave me alone about that.
I'm messing with you, John. Have a good one, bro.
I know you are, my brother.
All right.
Hey, and thanks for having my back, bro.
Y'all have a blessed evening.
All
You
right.
too.
You too, man.
All right.
Hey, but
What's going on? Oh, go ahead, Disco.
I got something I got to tell you. I've been holding Zan for the whole day. I had a lady on here last Monday.
Oh yeah, he don't know this. Right, right.
I had a lady on here last Monday, and she was talking about her kids.
Watch this.
And she said out her own mouth, I didn't steer her there. I didn't say nothing about no previous interviews up here. She said out her own mouth, and I almost fell out the chair, that she don't allow her kids to play with no toys at 4 and 5 years old.
Look at Maria's face. See, Maria wasn't here.
And I thought it would be the only time I would hear that in my life from you. But she had to be about 29, maybe 32 years old, and said she would not.
She said her reason.
Her parents didn't let her play with no at 4 and 5 years old, and she got a business at 32 years old, a full restaurant at 32 years old, a full hair salon at 32 years old, and she don't allow her kids to play with no toys at 4 and 5. And I almost fell out of the chair. God, not saying it out of disrespect to you,
yeah,
at all. I have all respect for you, but in a joking matter, but I do respect the hell out you. It's just I never thought I'd hear it again.
Just you heard it from someone.
I heard it from somebody else, and I didn't say. I had a partner of mine here last time said to say I didn't do none of that. She came out her own mouth and said it.
yeah. See, my rationale is to take them out of imaginary world and keep them grounded in reality. So any replica of reality eliminate reality. See, because it's a replica. We know that like I said, Santa Claus don't exist. But it become an imaginary figure. And they start living that and it become important. Yeah, and this is the reason why Christmas became so big. You know, Christmas is so big. Christmas is not big because we celebrating the life of Jesus Christ. Christmas is so big is because, and then they use it as a tool, a recruitment tool for the children.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody will tell you Christmas is for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, Christmas is not for the kids. It's for the people who profited off of Christmas. It's for the adults, those who are enriching their lives or their pockets.
It's a highly invoked propaganda. That's just what it is.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, I mean, I heard what you said. I taught school for 23 years, started early childhood. And the biggest thing that we teach our children is to embrace the imagination. So I heard what you were saying about that. But you have to, I had to actually listen to what you were saying, because that's one thing that when you walk into a classroom and you see a 4-year-old that doesn't know how to smile, or you see a 4-year-old that doesn't know how to play with a doll, or you see a 4-year-old that doesn't know how to play with a truck, you have to wonder, where is the teaching? I mean, where is this stemming from? Is it because they didn't have toys or they weren't exposed, or is it they just don't like toys? So it puts you in this thing, in this mindset of what's going on with this kid. And as a teacher, you're looking at, how do I embrace this? How do I teach this? And now we're taught. I haven't taught school in a couple of years, but before I left, you're taught. Even when my last teaching gig was DJJ, Department of Juvenile Justice, and you have a 17-year-old. It went to 17, now it's going to 22, which was crazy. They should never have done that. A 14-year-old with a 22-year-old, that's dangerous. But, I mean, it's very dangerous. But when a 17-year-old young man comes into your classroom, I taught English, and he's sitting there and he doesn't know how to joke with the other guys. They call them juveniles, with the other juveniles, because it's been beat out of him that he's supposed to be a man, and men don't cry, and different things like that hurts. And I'm like, where's this stemming from? And to see him break down for the first time and cry on your shoulder, and you're not supposed to even touch him, that hurts my heart. But you have to get back to the root of why everything is taught, because children are given this do what you want. Do what makes you happy. It doesn't matter what it is. Do what makes you happy. As a child, it's given to them, and all of a sudden you 15 years old and you never put a perspective on it. So they grow up doing what makes them happy, and it's hurting people, manipulating people, treating people like they ain't nothing just because I want to do what makes me happy. So when parents do and tell their children one thing, but they never fill the void with something else, then that young person is grasping for something to put there. So no, we're not going to play with toys. What we're going to do is we're going to do this over here. Let's read some books and try to figure out over here. Let's put the imagination in this book right here. What do you think happened in asking questions and implementing critical thinking, those kinds of things, and then allowing them, take them to the park. Now, please take them to the park, Mr. Noki. Now, let them talk, let them play, go down the slide and go play in the dirt, and get their knees dirty and stuff. Let them do that.
Yeah, I understand that perspective, and that's
sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
But see, what I was gonna tell you is, I don't know if you ever heard, and I'm quite sure you have. You educator, you heard the word psychosis, which is the noun to the adjective psychotic. A lot of peoples in our community suffer from mental illnesses, and they can't distinguish reality from fantasy.
Right.
And this show, or in a lot of cases, they're suffering from psychosis. And a lot of people don't understand that it stem from their childhood. And this is the reason why when I started learning about mental disorders, that I said, I don't want my kids or grandkids being manipulated by these imaginary things, because it started lacking in mental development. Because you got four stages of mental retardation. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to identify what stages your child can be in, because being retarded don't mean that they deformed. Being retarded just means you're retarded. Their development is just being hindered. It's being impeded, and it's impeded by these games. And this is the reason why I didn't let them play with toys, and I always try to stay connected or have them focus on what's real. Yeah, I joke and play with my kids. I love them. And I'm not I don't be hard like that. I'm not a hard liner, but it's all about educating them and making them aware of what's going on, because this world is cruel, and the people's in it is cruel. Like I said, they will manipulate your child with candy and all other different types of gimmicks and different types of things, and have your child, especially when you're talking about sexual predators, and you got little girls. It's all kinds of stuff. And once again, I'm going off up into my book, because my book is really predicated on these so-called games. And it started. That's why I call it the never-ending game, a death-defying experience from within inside America ghetto slums. Because all us then been involved in all these games. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it just go on and on and on and on. It ain't gonna stop. It didn't start with me, and it ain't gonna stop with me.
Right.
That's
Oh,
one thing I
absolutely.
like about. We can have different opinions, but when we walk out that door, New Order's on the same accord.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
That's why
Yeah.
we can. That's why I love this organization.
I want to
'Cause
piggyback.
we all
off
got
something
different
he said.
views. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. I mean, piggybacking off what you said,
Right.
they're in now in the stages of mental disorder. There are several different what you say? You said 5 stages or whatever.
4 stages.
4 to 5 stages, but it's no longer called mental retardation. It's called mild, moderate, and severe intellectually disorder.
Those are 4 stages.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 4 stages.
Mild, in there's stages in the mild. There's stages in the moderate, and there's stages in the severe. So when you get all of those, somebody that's mild can automatically be and can hold a conversation, but
right.
there may be something that's lacking moderately. There's something else. It's the same, but there's something deeply lacking. But whenever you're severe, there's something that in everybody can actually see. But psychosis comes in, and to one or two things. It comes in and it's passed down from a generation, or there's a trauma there. So you have, as a parent, you have to figure out what is it that my son or my daughter is lacking, and then because as black people, we don't go get therapy. They're gonna be okay. I had a cousin that lost his father at the age of, I think, 2 or 3, and immediately I talked to my mother about it. Immediately, this long time ago, he should have had some kind of therapy, but because he didn't, immediately started acting out, and they don't.
Right.
The actions is coming from something lacking.
Right.
You don't just start acting out. It's something there. There was a trauma. He lost a father. So in the midst of all of that, how do you help that child? And then they grow up being disgruntled, being mean, and then because there was a trauma there, now psychosis has hit.
Right.
And
But
mental.
Also, I don't mean to cut you off.
You're fine.
But it's other traumatizing things that exist too.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs and alcohol.
Absolutely.
This play a tremendous part. And then you have other things that are exacerbated, such as the music, the TV. These things send people's deeper into a different realm.
And like you said, it's a never-ending battle, because if parents don't get a hold of it and they do not challenge it and they don't stop it, it's going to continue cycle it from generation to generation.
Well, again, we have about 4 minutes left into the show. I really appreciate y'all every week, the hard work, making this show very, very successful. I want to thank DISCO100 Radio for giving us opportunity for this platform. My co-host Noki, I really appreciate you being dedicated every week. I know you look tired, man, but you come to the studio. Jeanette, I know you kind of live far from here, but you're here. I really appreciate that. Because this work is not easy.
No, it's
It can
not.
burn you. I know that, and I want to congratulate you as well, starting your own organization. Because my goal was to start New Order. I wanted to see if you want to talk about it briefly, but you didn't want to do the help. So one thing about this organization, everybody has a goal.
Yes,
It sounds like you want to run for office one day.
I will. I'm
things
planning
like
on
that.
it.
So
Yes,
I can't stop nobody for doing what they want to do. It's just when y'all need y'all there for me.
absolutely.
So that's the main thing. We all multitask.
And we want to thank. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We want to thank you too. You keep us on our toes.
Right.
You call us and check up on us, and you post stuff every day, and we respond to it. And I love to see it. And my phone pings all day I'm at my computer. Ping, ping, ping. I said, "There's got to be New Order."
Some of it don't be me now. You know that, right?
Yeah,
The
some
members,
of it,
they be,
the members. Once you post something, if it goes 5 times in a row, I know he's posting
they don't
something,
see it. She's the
and
board of directors. She don't
they
see it.
are responding to it. I
Or
mean,
text message.
time he do it. I mean, it's immediate, and I said, "Okay, I got to jump in. Let me put my 2 cents in there too."
I always tease John and they more quiet, laid back, all uppity. Y'all be like,
We be on
you
it.
be seeing it.
We be on it, and I appreciate it. It keeps you on your toes,
Right.
and I think
It's the drive because
yes.
a lot of people is very, it's bigger than me.
It is.
And a lot of people has been victims.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Hey,
things like that.
I'm most definitely grateful to have met y'all, you sisters, and I plan on having, you know, a nice future with y'all and being able to support y'all in any causes or
Right.
any endeavors, you know, and it's an honor.
Right,
Yes,
right,
as well.
right. And so we got about a minute left again. You go your boy William Blackman watching from Chicago. When you gonna put on that
yeah.
New Order gear so you can market, bro?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
trying to
my
get these
man.
T-shirts.
That's my man. Hey, and that's the one who been
It wouldn't
really,
be without him. It wouldn't be us.
man. He been supporting me, man, since I was 5 years
Yeah,
old.
he a good brother,
Wow.
man.
Yeah.
He a strong.
He
good
was
brother
like
from
one of my
Chicago.
initial babysitters.
Oh,
and
for real?
Yeah, yeah.
Probably let you get away with stuff, huh? When you was young, huh?
I bet he ain't played.
Nah,
I bet
he got me into stuff.
Right,
Yeah, he gave me all his toys.
right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna
He
go
got
ahead and end
four.
this show again next week
Yeah,
for
I
Real
did.
Talk
I
with
played
New
with
Order.
toys.
We're gonna have Mr. Kent Osborne, who's the husband of Shanair Osborne, coming to the studio. You know, he went from prison to power. He owns, I think, they own a trucking company, but he's gonna better tell you stories. So I'm looking forward to having him in the studio next week. Again, when you're part of the program, give us a call, 678-638-6626. We're gonna go ahead and end this live show again. Disco, I really appreciate, bro, all the great work what you're doing or whatever. You know, I know you have all these shows, but you know, New Order, that thing, boy. Yeah, we talk like brothers throughout the week. All right, then. So we're gonna go ahead and that. And anybody else want to say something right quick? Again, we do take donations. $ New Order donations, all one word, or you can go to our website at www.nonhro.org. Hit that PayPal button because it takes money to do this. And again, thank you to my New Order family. Miss Tamika Black just gave a big donation for just out of the blue. That ain't nothing but God. I appreciate that, Tamika. Talk to you later. Peace.
All right, peace.